I'm Abrahamson, and this past semester I put together a suite of poems called Portrait of a Granddad and Grandson it explores the relationship and connection that I have with my granddad through a picture of a lighthouse that I had inherited from him. He passed away this past summer, and it's kind of a main source of inspiration over this past year. So this first one is a prose poem called Lighthouse Continued. I'm sitting in my spot, back against the pillow, mangled from constant use, legs stretched across the couch, slippers kicked off next to my feet, mostly staring at the TV. But that picture brings me haunting peace. The peace of Granddad that I use daily. When I walked into his house after the memorial service, that was the first thing I saw and wanted. I can't help but think that we are that lighthouse. But did I enter into that picture when he died, or have I always been there with him? I read about this lighthouse. It took 34 years to build, using the best engineers because of the terrain. Cold water, jagged rocks, strong wind, pounding waves. It was lit for only 4 years after the construction was complete. Then the Germans came. Hitler ordered all the lighthouses on the northern coast of France to be extinguished. The same war that changed Granddad. Was his light put out then, or was a new one ignited? He was part of the greatest generation. Uncle Scott said that his generation, the ones who survived the war, felt they had cheated death and were given this extra life to live however they wanted. That was Granddad. After the war, after 4 more years of neglect, the cables to the lighthouse were so eroded that no one could get out there. Boats would get smashed against the waves and rocks, and Granddad was left there. He married, had 4 kids, divorced, and his ex-wife and kids became Christians. Then for the next 30 years, they tried to get to him. Was it the war that caused him to seclude himself? That caused the complete seclusion from any religion, and towards the end, seclusion from letting people into his life? Now I see this picture, look out at the waves and endless ocean. I'm there. When did I seclude myself into the stone pillar? This next one is called Whispers to Write Something. It's the opening poem to the suite. It's in 4 parts. 1. Alyssa's alarm goes off. Sometimes I wake and will her to get it. Lately I don't open my eyes until a cat is scratching at the door. 5:30 is too early in the morning for anyone to be up. I turn to the cold side of my pillow and try not to enter the morning yet. 2. I drag myself from the comfort of my bed to the couch to watch Jimmy Fallon tell me what people are talking about each morning. 3. A landscape picture rests on the wall above my TV. I'm reminded between the episodes of Band of Brothers that maybe I should begin to weave a dense tapestry, connecting the lighthouse to Granddad to myself. 4. Maybe another time. And the last one is more specifically about my granddad. It's called My Granddad Lying in a Hospital Bed Reads the Scene and Reports on It. I reach for each breath, staring past the fluorescent lights and white ceiling, distraught faces looking down at me for 40 years, since the Christian nurse brought more than help to my family after I walked out. Jesus walked in. I have been told stories about lepers and crosses and how hell will be reaching up towards me like I now reach for a breath. But a book full of words, ink-stained on trees, ripped from their roots, means nothing. When bacteria living hell described fills lungs like the jars of wine I crave. Don't look down over the wires and bags. I am not dead. They are not tombstones on my living body. My heart still pumps blood through my lungs, which still fill with air. Death is beneath my bed, and I am scared. Don't tell me I shouldn't fear. Alcohol and prescription drugs no longer mix in my veins. The absence presses against my skull and skin. I want to scream, but only a grunt escapes. You think that means I want more prayer and that I have accepted Jesus.